Hi, and welcome to Terribly Fun Films. I'm your host Bobby, and this is February's Nerd Show and Tell. There's a lot of things here. As always, we'll start with the non-movie DVD Blu-ray items, and all the DVDs and Blu-rays are in one big pile, alphabetically when we get to those. Without further ado, let's do this. The Kevin J. Anderson book, The Edge of the World, which is book one of the Terra Incognita series. Kevin J. Anderson's doing a Dragon Con, which I'm going to this year, so I'm going to read one of his books and see if I like it. For Valentine's Day, my wife got me two things. Alan Foster Bean's Hand of Dinotopia, and the special 20th anniversary edition of Dinotopia, The World Beneath. While shopping at Barnes & Noble, we came across some really cool deals. So we got Calamities and Catastrophes, the 10 absolute worst years in history, which sounds like a lot of crazy fun. And Extreme Bricks, which is spectacular, record-breaking, and astounding Lego projects from around the world. It's not really a coffee table book, it's actually like goes into depth analysis type deals of these various projects. It looks really cool. And the latest Funko Pop I have is for a brand new amazing film, John Wick Chapter 2, the John Wick Funko. And this Puppet Master Access Termination poster. That is all I have for non-movie items, so let's do this. First is a Chuck Norris triple pack with Breaker, Hero and the Terror, and Lone Wolf McQuaid. Of these, I've actually only ever seen Breaker. I didn't own any of them, and it was like $5. Totally worth it. Next is the Sci-Fi Fever 20 film collection, which has a lot of movies I was looking for on their own. So I'm really glad to be able to have picked this up. It has The Infinite Worlds of H.G. Wells Parts 1, 2, and 3, Robin Cook's Invasion Parts 1 and 2, Alien Contamination, End of the World, The Last Man on Earth, Planet Outlaws, Unknown World, Alien Species, Star Odyssey, They, The War of the Robots, Warriors of the Wasteland, The Day the Sky Exploded, Battle of the Worlds, Counterblast, The Doomsday Machine, and This Is Not a Test. The Sci-Fi collection has 4 movies on it. Voyage to the Prehistoric Planet, Abraxas, Guardian of the Universe, which stars Jesse Ventura, They Came from Beyond Space, and First Spaceship on Venus. A friend of mine, Byron, who I will leave a link in the description below for you to check him out, give him a sub and all that, recently reviewed this film. And I haven't seen it, which was very odd for me. So I was able to find a copy for a real good price. That is Aliens vs. Avatars. I'm really excited to watch this. I recently saw a trailer for this movie that came out 1 or 2 years ago. Never really bothered. Like, I knew it existed before I saw this trailer, but I never really bothered with it until the trailer, which made it look really great. That is American Hero. Appleseed is a long-running manga and anime series that's been going around since the 80s, I believe. There was a 1989 2D traditional Appleseed movie. Then, in the 2000s, they released a string of cell CGI animated films that were a huge hit. So much so that they spun that off into a TV show. The TV show had some issues with padding and filler, so they pared all that down and released the important parts as 2 movies. Appleseed 13, Tartarus and Oronas. These are the TV show, but edited into 2 films to kind of complete the overall saga. I own all the other Appleseed movies in this particular series, so I'm really excited for that. Some people have a very interesting career. Jean-Claude Van Damme, Dolph Lundgren, these sorts of people, in that they're big movies that made them famous. A, didn't require too much acting from them, and B, they were very wet behind the ears, not really good, and as they progressed into more direct-to-DVD features, they got better acting-wise. It's kind of weird. All that is to say, he's not really good in the film, but Dolph Lundgren's Army of One is kind of awesome. Now we have the animated straight-to-DVD Marvel Avengers Confidential, Black Widow and Punisher. A DVD of the movie Bear, signed by Freddie Wong. He's not in the film, I don't think. He did produce it though, so that's real cool. And now a movie I've been waiting for about 3 years. Christoph Gans is the director of Brotherhood of the Wolf and the first silent film movie, which is, in my opinion, the greatest video game film of all time. And in 2014, he released a version of Beauty and the Beast that got released all over Europe and at least the Asian territories. I'm not sure where else beyond those two sections of the world, though. Never got a North American release. Never came to theaters here. I don't know why. It finally got a home video release, and that's the Blu-ray of Christoph Gans' Beauty and the Beast. I'm really excited for that one. Next, we have the Casper Van Dien and Sean Mayer starring Beyond the Edge, also known as Mission 88 and Isra 88. And this is a strange, dramatic sci-fi mystery with some really weird, humorous moments. It's hard to explain. I will do a full review of it soon. Well, not soon. For Casper Van Dien month, you know. Up next, we have a movie with a crazy cast. It's got Sam Riley, Andrea Rosenbaum, Andy Serkis, Helen Mirren, and the dearly departed John Hurt. Brighton Rock. I don't know why I didn't already own this, so don't ask, but Chicken Run. Interesting sounding noir film with an amazing cast that I have not seen, City of Sin. The sci-fi original film that came out last October for the 31 Days of Horror, The Crooked Man, starring Michael Jai White. Now we have a sequel that I'm surprised didn't come out sooner to a made-for-TV superhero film, Cross Wars. The real interesting sounding horror film, Do Not Disturb. I haven't seen this, so I don't know if it's good. Doctor Who, Day of the Doctor on Blu-ray. Best Buy had a run of Blu-rays for $5. I guess they were just trying to clear out their inventory or something. Among them were this double feature of Bram Stoker's Dracula and Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. This is the one with Gary Oldman. This is the one with Kenneth Branagh and Robert De Niro. Next, we have the Midnight Movies DVD of Roger Corman's The Fall of House of Usher, written by Richard Matheson, which is kind of awesome, right? I don't know if you've seen FDR American Badass, Pool Boy, Drowning of the Fury, or any of the other films by Ross Patterson. His films are all low-budget, ridiculous, amazing pieces of work. And his latest is Helen Keller vs. Nightwolves. Again, cheap double feature Blu-ray of Jet Li's Fearless, the director's cut, and Unleashed, which is probably my favorite Jet Li movie. Unleashed is brilliant. So, in my last Nerd Show and Tell, I stated that when I got Killjoy Psycho Circus, I owned all the Killjoy movies. I thought there were only 4. I thought 1, 2, 3, and then Psycho Circus. I was wrong. I did not have Killjoy Goes to Hell, and now I do. The Vestron video series Blu-ray release of Lair of the White Worm, the Sci-Fi Channel film Larva. And finally, I got the Librarian trilogy on Blu-ray. This is not the show, these are the movies the Librarians show is spun off from. This is Dutch. It is region free, so I know it'll work to my players, and it's all 3 of them. Quest for the Spear, Return to King Solomon's Mines, and Curse of the Judas Chalice. I love these movies. I'm very excited to have these on Blu-ray. The made-for-Sci-Fi Channel film, Manticore, which I'm going to give it a rewatch. Did not care for it that much when I originally watched it. So it was $3. My wife stole out my pile of things to buy and bought it for me, so it was free for me. Didn't care for it much, but I really like this cover. I really want to like it, and I got some friends who really love Sci-Fi Channel films, and they also enjoyed it, so I think I just missed something there. An intriguingly belated sequel to a 1980s cult sci-fi classic starring Walter Koenig and Bruce Campbell. I'm of course referring to Moontrap. We now have the Sarah Butler starring Moontrap Target Earth, which ties in somehow to that. I haven't watched this yet. But hey, look at that cover. Isn't that glorious? I'm real excited for this, and I love Sarah Butler. She's a great actress, so that'll be really cool. I'm not all just about B-movies and silly sci-fi shit. I also love, well, anything I consider good, actually. And I think this is one of the better romantic comedies in recent memory, music, and lyrics. By recent memory, I mean like the last 20 years. I know this is like 10 years old. You know Studio Ghibli, you know Hayao Miyazaki. If you know Hayao Miyazaki, you know his first movie was Nausicaa, The Valley of the Wind. I'm currently going through, which is what you see over here. This stack is all of my Miyazaki movies on Blu-ray. They're on top of all my Neil Johnson films, and I'm trying to make sure I own them all on Blu-ray. They're on Blu-ray currently. And I didn't own this one, and now I do. Up next, this movie only cost $1.99 on Blu-ray. I don't know how that was possible. My wife really loves it. I'm okay on it. It's a first, third, okay, middle, hilarious end, and that is Office Space. And another John Hurt film. This one is a weird retelling of Beowulf, in which Grendel is an alien evil creature, and Beowulf is a time-traveling space warrior. I'm of course talking about the awesomeness that is Outlander. My wife and I were at Monster Music and Movies the other week, and looking through their stuff, she came across this documentary that I've been looking for a while. That proved weirdly hard to find, and I don't know why. That documentary is Overnight, which is about the rise and fall of Troy Duffy, the creator of Boondock Saints. Anybody who knows me knows I don't care for those films. But the egotism and absurdity on display here is fascinating. This next film is something I know I already have somewhere. I don't know where it went. I'm not sure what happened to it. I don't think I let somebody borrow it. I have no idea what happened. My wife wanted to watch it this past Halloween, and we could not find it to save our lives, which is sad for a variety of reasons. That is, of course, Paranorman. This film is amazing. It's another Midnight Movies DVD release. It is another Edgar Allan Poe story, as directed by Roger Corman and written by Richard Matheson. The first one was Follow the House of Usher. You can guess this one is The Pit and the Pendulum. Next is a Sci-Fi Channel film, similar title to a movie that got released on DVD that was a Sci-Fi Channel film under a different title. Mindstorm was made for the Sci-Fi Channel under that title. It got shown under that title. Then when they released it on DVD, they put it under the title Project Human Weapon and no longer under Mindstorm. So it took me a while to realize that Project Human Weapon and Project Viper, starring Patrick Muldoon, were two different movies. My bad. A movie I've never heard of, but sounds sort of cool. Real Horror. The Vestron video series Blu-ray release of Return of the Living Dead 3. Again, that's why I had a really good deal on some Blu-rays. So, that would include Seven Psychopaths from the creator of In Bruges, Martin McDonough. This film's hilarious. John Fallon runs a horror site called Arrow in the Head. It is the sister site to the Canadian movie fan site Joe Blow. And he's made a few films, written some, directed others, had cameos in lots of them. This is his latest film that he's written and directed, starring the always awesome Michael Parr, The Shelter. The Asylum has not been as prolific in releasing films as they once were, in part because of their TV show Z Nation, in part because I guess they're saving up money for Sharknado sequels. I don't really know. And while this isn't one of the best of theirs, it is a lot of fun, in part just because the main actor is so good. That is the newly released Sinbad and the War of the Furies. I love Billy Zane. I mean, who doesn't love the Phantom, right? It's not just me, correct? I love of certain actors, Casper Van Dien, Billy Zane, that sort of thing. It does lead me to blind buys sometimes. When I'll just buy a movie, having never watched it, knowing very little about its plot, or even any critical reviews, is Sniper Ghost Shooter. British horror film starring Billy Piper, of all people. Spirit Trek. The Region 1 North American Blu-ray of Stakeland was hard to find for a real good price. But I got this for $12, I want to say. The case it came in was very destroyed, and there are little nicks here and here on the actual cover art, but the disc is in perfect shape. So I just switched out the case, and I got it for a way better deal than I was able to find any other place. The Sci-Fi Channel sequel to one of my favorite horror films of all time, Stir of Echoes 2: Homecoming. Haven't seen this one, but I love the first one. Love the book it's based on. Love it. If DC's current lineup of live-action films could have matched the fun and mastery and overall critical acclaim and commercial success that their animated shows of the 90s had found, no one would be complaining anything. In that vein, we have the Blu-ray release of Superman: Brainiac Attacks. This is a feature-length movie that, much like Batman: Mask of the Phantasm, is related to the Superman animated series of the 90s. Next, I have a science fiction double feature of Survivor and 30 Years to Life. A friend recommended Survivor to me, and mind you, this is not the Aerostorm movie Survivor, bear that in mind. And I could only really find it with this one. This was on my Amazon wishlist for a while. Then when we were at Monsters the other day, I found it. It's a Sci-Fi Channel film, Termination Point. There's only a small handful of Thanksgiving movies, which is kind of confusing for a variety of reasons. I mean, Halloween, hundreds. Christmas, millions. That sort of thing. There are Thanksgiving movies, but there aren't a lot. There also aren't a lot of children's fantasy Thanksgiving movies. But leave it to the Jim Henson Company to correct that with Turkey Hollow. Fairly new horror film from Sheldon Wilson. I haven't seen it yet, but I like the cast. I like Wilson's other output. So I'm having my hopes, you know, fairly excited for it. And that is The Unspoken. We have the Disney horror movie The Watcher in the Woods. World War II zombie film Zombie Massacre 2: Reich of the Dead. Thank you all for watching. I've been your host, Bobby, and I'll see you next time.